Jenks, of these championship games, which one do you feel the strongest about when it comes to like a side or a total?
I have to say, I'm starting to come around on my Texas Longhorns here. The more I think about it. And I know, Georgia manhandled Texas the first time they played in Austin. But I think these are two different teams now. Like, Georgia is coming off that struggle against Georgia Tech. Might be a little tired. 8 overtimes. They certainly have the experience here. But the Dogs are 3-9 against the number this season, and Texas has gotten better. That defense is lights out. And by the way, I'm a little angry right now. You queued that up at the perfect time, Double D. They're not allowing Bevo to go to the Georgia Dome. Are you guys in the South or what? This is a stadium. You can't make room for Bevo? Yeah, you're scared. You're scared because the last time you put Bevo around Uga, guess what happened? Got the horn. Bevo's hungry, and he's hungry for Bulldog, and he's going to get some this weekend. Whether he's there or not, the Dogs are going down. Texas on the money line. That defense is going to come through. Carson Beck is going to throw picks, and the mighty University of Texas is going to be an SEC champion in its first year in the conference. Let's go, baby.
It's crazy how there are a ton of teams like that, where it's their first year in the conference and they're already competing, for the conference championship. Because look at all these championship games. Like, we've got the Big 12 championship between Iowa State and Arizona State, who could be winning the Big 12. You've got, the SEC title game where Texas could win it. You've got the Big 10 championship where Oregon could possibly be your winner. And then the ACC. Oh, yes, just like everybody predicted. SMU could be winners of the ACC championship game. So looking at some of these other games, I think from a standpoint of which game has the most implications for the college football playoff, for the teams who are actually in it. Because when you look at Georgia and Texas, I think the biggest implications are for the teams who are not in it. If Georgia wins, I think it's good for Alabama. And you kind of get what I'm saying here. But the ACC championship game, I know that the ACC has lost some luster over, the past couple seasons since Clemson has not been a juggernaut. But this is a big game. It feels like SMU is kind of on the cusp of things, and it feels a little unfair. But still, I do think they have to make some sort of a statement here just because their schedule has been a little soft. So if they can do big things or at least win this game over Clemson, I think this, is a guaranteed berth into the college football playoff. But that's the question. Do we think SMU is going to win this game, or do we think Clemson has been a little under the radar here? The line's only 2.5, Jenks.
Yeah. I like the Stangs. I like the ponies here.
The
Stangs. Nobody calls them the Stangs.
Right.
It's the ponies. I just made that up. The Stangs. I like the ponies here. Did you know that SMU, because last year they were in the AAC, now they're in the ACC, they have won 17 consecutive conference games. This is a team that has scored 28 points in 9 straight games. And ever since Kevin Jennings took over after week 3 as their quarterback, SMU has just taken off. And I don't think we're giving SMU enough credit because SMU hasn't been relevant on a consistent basis since the 80s. So you hear SMU and you're like, whatever. This is an AAC school. First year in the ACC. This is Clemson. And Clemson is good. The number is the number. I think SMU will make a statement, and they need to win this game to possibly stay in the playoff because if they lose, they might fall out of the top 12. I think SMU beats Clemson. SMU is a really good football team that may not be top tier, but I think they're better than Clemson.
Here's a question that I think is interesting, and I don't know if there's a right answer to it, but does Dabo Swinney get any credit for playing in a bunch of big games? We had a guest come on yesterday, and he was saying that Dabo kind of plays conservatively in some of these big games, and he hasn't played in a big one in quite some time. But there was a stretch there where Clemson and Dabo Swinney, they were at the mountaintop of college football. So this is a big game. Does Dabo get any credit for being, a coach that has a ton of experience in these type of games? Or is it passed him by?
I don't think the game has passed Dabo by. I think it goes back to NIL, and I know everyone keeps talking about this, but it's not his coaching, it's his refusal to evolve with the game. And I understand the principle. I understand why it's frustrating if you're Dabo, But if you're going to survive, you've got to adjust. It's, survival in college football means using the portal. He won't do it. So it's not about his coaching. It's about his adjustments.
I guess we should talk about Penn State, should we?
Yeah,
we should.
Penn State fight song? Penn State Big Ten championship against Oregon? Do they have a chance?
I think they do, and this is not homerism, okay? It's not. And a lot of people who were here to listen to our conversation.
It is for David.
The true. For people that heard our conversation the day before the Ohio State game, they're going to go, okay, sure it isn't homerism, Chris. That's nice. You think they have a chance against Oregon. That's so cute, Chris. I think they do. Look, they're going to get Boobie Wallace, Harrison Wallace III, back this week. I think that gives them an opportunity, a little bit more opportunity on the outside against the Oregon secondary. That is what Penn State has struggled with all year. I think we saw in the USC game, which is probably the closest thing to this game elements-wise, good conditions in Southern California to playing inside, that Penn State has played in all year, that they can open this offense up just a little bit. If they use Tyler Warren creatively, which they know they are capable of, Andy Kotelnicki, if he leans into that, I think there's an opportunity for Penn State to get some points on the board early, and that's the key against Oregon. That's how this stays a game all night long, and maybe even Penn State pulls off the upset. I do think it's really interesting how wide the split is on this one, that everybody is in on Penn State. The public, the sharps, all of them. I mean, you look at the numbers at BetQL, and they are all screaming that everybody outside of State College, Pennsylvania, is betting Oregon in this one. So if you're looking to fade the public and you think that Penn State pass rush can get after Dylan Gabriel, then heck, 3.5, absolutely. Field goal and a hook. I think this will be at the very least a close game.
Penn State, Oregon, I feel like everyone expects the Ducks to win. Penn State looking for its first Big Ten title since 2016. How hungry is this fan base to finally get over the hump and get a conference championship?
First of all, after being compared to bagel bites, I feel so much better about myself. This was unexpected because of how it played out. Exciting. For the Penn State fan base, they woke up on Saturday morning and thought, okay, great, win the game, get into the college football playoff. That was a lot. All right. Well, then they're watching the Ohio State game, which was not exactly – I don't think the Hall of Fame is calling for that tape. I mean, it's just it's one of those you sit back and go, what the heck is this? Every time we're doing the pregame show, Jack Ham's my broadcast partner, and the two of us kept glancing over in the pregame show, and every time we glanced over, missed field goal, interception, fumble, and I said, well, this is a classic. And when it was over with, everybody looked around and said, hey, Penn State's going to Indianapolis. They get to play for the Big Ten championship. And I wondered, how would the fans react? Was it more important that they got into the college football playoff and this was nice? No, they're really into it, and they are going to Indy in droves. That's what I found out the entire week. The excitement level of the Penn State fan base for this game is really off the charts.